Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. Alright, so today we've got some potatoes. So we are going to make our own hash browns. One of the simple ways to save money is by doing stuff yourself. So one of the things that we're gonna learn today is how to make a hash brown. Sometimes, you know, when you go to the store, you can buy these bags of hash browns, and it usually takes like 2 to 3 bags just to kind of feed a family, even if you're making some type of casserole or something like that. So we've got some regular just russet potatoes. You can buy a big bag. We usually get these at Costco. I normally do this over the kitchen sink, but you're just gonna peel them. I got a bucket of water over here. Let me back y'all up just a little bit so you can see it. I got a bucket of water right here. And you have to have a little shredder, like a cheese shredder. I don't know what people call them, but I just call it a shredder. I'm sure there's a culinary name for it, but like I said, I'm not really fancy too much around here. So if you want somebody who's gonna be all fancy, you're watching the wrong channel. I just, you know, real life, real cooking. If you like the skins, then go ahead and leave it on and you can just shred it that way. But I don't like the skin. So the bigger the potato, the harder it is for me to shred. Alright, so the camera shut off. No one should be surprised. GoPro. The dog started going crazy because the camera beeped and then they haven't stopped barking. Alright, so I finished peeling all the potatoes in that time frame. So there's the 4 peeled potatoes. I've got my little shredder thing here. And basically, you're just going to take the potato and then run it down and shred it. I have to tell y'all this before we go on. You know I'm ADHD. So y'all see that I have this hole in my pants, right? I bought the pants this way. I paid for this. My fiance, he came in and he said, girl, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? And he said, what are you running around with those pants on? How'd you rip your pants? I said, I didn't rip these pants. I paid for them to look like this. And he's like, what? He said, what in God's name? Who pays to have a hole in their pants like that? He said, I could have just taken them outside and just drug them behind the lawnmower and got them all ripped up for you. You didn't have to pay for that. He's like, you probably paid more money than you should have for those pants. And I'm like, well, you know you're getting old, man, when you sit there and dog the style, dude. He's like, that's not style. He's like, that makes us look like we can't afford to have you have a decent pair of pants. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, so I just thought that was entertaining. He cracks me up. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to take this potato. Let me bring y'all down to the counter so y'all can see. Alright. Y'all a little too far. Alright, and you're just going to run it down. This takes a little bit of work. I have a different, like, shredder. But I'm not pulling it out right now. This takes some work. So home cooked food, definitely, it takes a little, you know, you need to put a little elbow grease on it. And what you're going to do is once you shred these potatoes like this, here's the potatoes. You're going to put them in this bucket of water for now because you want to pull the starch out. That's the oven going off. Put your oven at 400 degrees. Because what you're going to want to do is, as soon as I let the potatoes soak a little bit of the starch off, because it'll help them to cook and get kind of crispy a little bit better, you're going to want to, and I'll just show y'all now so that I can turn the camera off and save the battery and whatever problems it has for later. Once the starch gets soaked off, I would say soak them for at least, you know, 15-20 minutes, right? You're going to want to take them out and then you're just going to squeeze the water out of them. And then I put them into a separate bowl, and in that bowl I just put a little bit, you know, to your liking, because you want to get them kind of crispy. I don't want to fry them in a pan. I mean, you could pan fry them if you wanted to, but that's too much grease and it's not healthy for you. So what you're going to want to do is squirt a little bit of olive oil over the top of them, and then you're going to want to spread them out on a cookie sheet. Let me get the cookie sheet for you. Here's my cookie sheet. I'm going to use my non-stick pan, my non-stick little mat, and then you're going to want to put your spice on them. So we're just going to add a little bit of Redmond's Real. I don't really like my potatoes spicy. Some people like pepper, some people like, you know, you like what you like. Put whatever flavor you want on them as far as like a spice goes. I used to have a friend who made these, and she would put jalapenos on them. If you like jalapenos, you do you, right? If you want onions, you do you. So 400 degrees, you're gonna cook them for 15 minutes, then pull them out, take a spatula, move them all around, and cook them for at least another 15 to 20 minutes. Now keep an eye on them, because you don't want them to burn, and you just kind of want to make sure that they get crispy. So make sure that when you put the olive oil on them, that it pretty much kind of coats each, you know, piece, because you don't really want them to get too clumpy, because then they get kind of funky and weird. You kind of want them to have a nice little crispiness to them. So it's that simple. You didn't have to go out and buy a bag of the actual packs of shredded potatoes. You just need to shred them yourself. So, you know, just take a little bit of extra time and do that. One of the other things is that you could do, I don't recommend it because I don't think they turn out as crispy, but you could suck and seal these and then freeze them. Not for me, you know. So like I said, you do what makes you happy. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then I'll show you what they look like before I go ahead and I put them in the oven, and then we'll get them cooked. And then once they're cooked, I'll bring them back out, and then you guys will see how beautiful and crispy they are. And this is just super easy. So if you've got a big, you know, holiday or big family or something coming up, you could actually keep them in the water in your fridge, or even if you keep them literally like overnight in a cool place, and then drain them the next morning, you could absolutely do that, because then they kind of get like a little bit of ferment on them. The longer you let a potato sit, the more ferment that will kind of occur. But you don't want it to occur too much, because it'll make you sick. So I wouldn't say longer than like overnight personally. That's just, you know, that's just me. So anyway, but you could do this ahead of time, and then that way, like in the morning, you could just get up, squeeze it, throw that olive oil on it, put your spice, and then throw it on there, start your process, and it's one less thing. I've obviously started doing this during the day. Like I said, today's just going to be a cooking day. So it is what it is. So we're going to have a little bit of hash browns today with our food that I'll be making. So, all right, I'll bring you guys back as soon as I put that stuff on the tray. All right, friends, so I have finished shredding 4 potatoes. Look how huge this is. Like, made a massive amount, but those, like 3 of those potatoes were really large. I didn't realize like actually how large they really were. Now you've got 2 ways of doing this. You can do it like I said. You can just go ahead and squeeze it out, which is what I'm gonna do, because I just, you know, that's just how I'm gonna do it. Or you can take a tea towel and you can just spread it over a tea towel, damp it out, and then flip it in. So whatever, if you don't have the hand strength like my mom, she wouldn't have the hand strength for that. So I get it. But this is definitely a massive amount of potatoes. And the water's just, I'm just squeezing and the water's just dripping off. So you want to get as much as you can off. Here, let me bring it a little bit this way so you guys can see it. So I'm just taking it and then just squeezing. And you can see it's just dripping out. Since I have so many, I could take some olive oil and some salt and kind of implement that right now, but I'm gonna hold off. See, squeeze it, and then transfer it. And really this makes a lot, and that's what I'm saying, you can just get a bag of potatoes. So talk about some money saving, you know, just get a bag of potatoes. Potatoes are so versatile. You can have mashed potatoes, you can have hash browns, you can make French fries. You can also do this, y'all, with sweet potatoes. So if I'm changing the recipe up for a sweet potato, you know, we can grow sweet potatoes here in Zone 9B, Florida. So what you would want to do, in my opinion, instead of just making it just salt, you could always just do the Redmond's Real. But if you want to change it up, you know, go ahead and add a little bit of cinnamon. And I know some people like to do like the cinnamon and sugar, a little bit of brown sugar. I mean, sweet potatoes are already sweet to me, so I'm just like, yeah, I don't want that extra sugar. But I think it's super cool how versatile not only white potatoes are, but you could do this with sweet potatoes. So just take this recipe, like you saw me do, shred them up, and then you've got shredded sweet potato hash browns. That's what I'm saying. Think outside of the box. You know, people are just always, they just buy whatever's at the grocery store and they don't have to think for themselves. I saw this commercial where they had a refrigerator, which I know has been like around for a while or whatever, but the refrigerator gives you recipes. Like, really? Come on. Like, what happens when AI is not there to hold your hand, people? You need to think for yourselves and not be so dependent on the system. That's what I'm trying to teach you. Think for yourself. Stop being so dependent. Get yourself a cookbook or two, or watch my videos, write these recipes down. I've been trying to link them, you know, put stuff down in the description so that you guys can just make copies. Start doing it old school, man. They had trapper keepers at Walmart. I mean, back in the day, I'm telling my age here, man. But one of my friends, Jackie, got me a trapper keeper. And honestly, I just keep my recipes in my trapper keeper. I keep my own recipes in there. Because I'm like, you know, if something happens, then I want to be able to just put my hands on my own stuff. Or, you know, like I said, this is a generational thing. So if my nephews need it or my niece, then I want them to be able to go, dang, I remember when Aunt Kristen did blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, yeah, it's right over here. Go get the book. And then they can get the book. All right, y'all saw me I threw the Redmond's Real on there. And then I'm just using the Kirkland Signature olive oil. It doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, I've got other fancy olive oils because I'm a big olive oil person. But, you know, you do you. So I'm just going to flip this around. I'll show, let me make sure I got, well, let me grab the tray. Here's my tray. So I'm just going to kind of flip these around and make sure that olive oil gets coated. Kind of smush it a little bit. Not too bad. You don't want to bruise the potato, but you want to make sure that they get lovely and coated. But you don't want them saturated because you don't want to just bite into a ball of like grease. That would be, ugh. That's not for me. Grease is not for me. I told you, like my fiance, he likes McDonald's. So you know what? This is like a McDonald's, except it's kind of not. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna, let me flip this around so y'all can actually see. And I'm just gonna spread it out here on the pan. Now this actually pan might not be big enough to hold as much potato as I shredded today. I shredded a lot of potato. Like I said, I should have paid better attention. I'm used to feeding a lot of people. Honestly, well, not a lot, but like enough. So I think we might have to go 2 rounds on the shredded potato. I started to say hash brown. It's kind of like a hash brown, but not really. Yeah, there's enough that I'm gonna have to do 2 rounds. It's too thick. I mean, I could cook it if I wanted to, but it would take too long, and then it wouldn't get crispy like I want. So I'll actually back off a little bit there, thin it out some. I could do 2 trays. I have a small little oven, so I don't really have to do that. But I want to try to keep it away from the edges because I didn't actually spray this pan. I probably should have sprayed it so that the edges don't get crispy and stuck. But hindsight. All right, so there is my olive oil is good for you. I feel it like so greasy on me. All right, so here you go. Here is my tray of smushy brown potatoes, hash brown potatoes. I don't know what you want to call them, shredded potatoes. And all right, so 400 degrees, 15 minutes, take the spatula, flip them around, and then do another 15 to 20 minutes. I will bring you guys back as soon as this tray is done. All right, friends, so I just pulled these out of the oven, and there they are. Nice, crispy. Trying to get a piece off. So, super hot, because I just pulled it out of the oven. Did you hear it? Crunchy. I'd get a bigger piece, but I don't want to burn my mouth. There's a bigger piece. Do you hear that? That's a nice crunch. They taste delicious. Very good. So I decided to take the other half that I had, and I just laid them flat and dropped them in the freezer, even though I'd already put like olive oil and stuff on it. Probably not ideal, but I'll go ahead and probably cook those tomorrow, because this is plenty for today. Like, we don't need, I can see my hair just like sticking out. We don't need that much potato for sure. So I'll just end up cooking it tomorrow and maybe making like some scrambled eggs or something with it. So super easy, super delicious. Just remember to find time, or just remember to find easy ways to not have to spend your money at the grocery store. It might be a little more time consuming, but it is more beneficial. At least you know where it's coming from. It doesn't have a lot of preservatives, you know what I mean, because you're not buying it in that bag. And it was super easy to make. So, you know, just try to think outside of the box, everyone. So, all right, until next time, love one another, be kind, and I will see you guys in my next video.